Hello, friends. Have you made any major decisions in your life which you thought would be life altering, but a few months into the decision, and you felt like, oh my god, the decision which I made, was it the right one or not? You have doubts about that, right? And even after many people telling you that maybe you should change your decision, you are adamant and firm that no, what I've done now is the right decision and I will not change it. It becomes almost an ego issue. Something similar happened to me. In the year 2015, I used to work for a government bank, a public sector bank. And after tinkering for a few months or maybe a year, I confided to my friend Rajesh. I told him, Rajesh, I think I should quit this job. I'm not enjoying it anymore. And he was like, why? Why are you quitting it? It's a government job. You have the most, you have the job security out here, and no one will fire you. I was like, I know that, but the thing is, I'm not enjoying it. Plus, the toxic work culture along with office politics, that's really getting on to me. I just replied, but that's common everywhere. Anywhere you go, you will find office politics, but that's not the reason to quit. But I was firm. I told him, I don't think so. I think I should do only what my heart tells me to do. And being here, I'm not able to tap my full potential. So, in a few days, I'll be putting my papers. Raj was like, okay, fine, buddy. Whatever you feel like, just go ahead and do whatever you feel like. All the best for your life. And so, after a few days, I put in my papers. Even my bosses, my other colleagues asked me the same question. And my answer was the same. I think my time has come to do something of my own. And so, I quit in Jan 2016. After that, I enrolled myself in an English teaching class where I was taught how to teach English to adults. And after a year or so, I got a job teaching adults and college kids how to speak fluently in English. But a few days into the job, and I was like, I have to work here 8 hours a day. And even this class which I was working in, it was like they had three groups of students: the beginner group, the intermediate group, and the advanced group. And there was only one blackboard. So anytime I had to do explaining, I had to explain to one group first, then the second group, and third group. And at the same time, the queries used to come, and I used to answer them. I felt overwhelmed in a few days, and I was like, oh my god, is this the right choice which I did? Or should I change my career again? I was like, maybe this is not the right thing for me. Maybe this job is not correct. Maybe I should quit and let's see what happens later. So, fair enough, in a few days, I quit that job. In fact, the top management of that firm was not happy that I was quitting midway because I promised them during the interview that I'll be there for at least for 6 months. But then I was quitting in 2 months only. They were unhappy with me, and so was I. I didn't know what was happening with me. I just felt that this was not my calling, and so I quit my job. But one thing I realized that wherever you are, you should always honor your word. I felt very bad after that. So to get on with life, I did a few things thereafter. I did online sales, e-commerce. I sold a few things online, but that did not take off, and the response wasn't great. So again, I quit that too, and I fell into the thinking zone as to what have I done with my career? Have I ruined it? I had a wonderful paying job, and then I just quit it midway just to follow my passion. And now, when I'm following my passion, nothing is going the way I thought it would. Not only that, I had major issues within myself crop up too, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually also. For example, I started blaming my dad for my financial mess because I was in deep debt. All the creditors used to call me. All the creditors used to call me, and I was like, I'll pay you in a few months. Don't worry, I'll pay you in a few days. But with no job in sight, and I not willing to do any job that came my way, but only the ones which I felt like doing, I felt like maybe I am in a deep quandary. So I was waiting for things to get better by asking funds from my father. Because while on the job, I took a lot of loans to support my family, and I thought that maybe it's my dad's turn to help me now financially. So I was waiting, 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 and then a big news came my way. One of my closest relatives had duped my father of a huge sum of money, and I was like, "Oh my God, what have I gotten into? This is a total mess." I asked my father to ask for the money, and he was like, "No, they are our relatives, and we should never ask money from them. Whatever has happened has happened. Let bygones be bygones. Now let's move on." But my heart and mind were not willing to listen to him. I just went after him, complaining that you should be asking for that money. That's our money. That's my money too. And he was like, "No, this is not supposed to be the way. They are relatives, and we should not ask money from them." So began my struggle with myself, with my mind, as to what to do next. I always blamed my father, thinking that he was responsible for this financial mess. But as things go on, I went on with life and things started to improve a bit. And I took up a job as a spoken English trainer online, and now I am teaching students how to speak English fluently. Now, the only thing I can tell you from this episode of my life is that never quit your job unless and until you have plan B. Yes, unless you have enough savings in your account and unless you have a roadmap for your career, what you're going to do next. I committed a professional blunder. Maybe you should not commit that. So the thing is, a man's word is his honor. Never ever go back on your word. And secondly, work is that gives man his identity. Without work, you are nothing in society. These two things hit me really hard. And I'm glad that I went through this experience because had it not been so, I would never have valued job and money so much the way I'm valuing it now. So always value whatever you have and think for the future while keeping your feet firmly planted on the ground. Thank you so much. Bye.